This is the story of a fisherman who encountered a Muni in his village. By following a simple vow as advised, he transformed his next birth into a life of joy. Read on to discover the fascinating events that unfolded. In a village by the river, the majority of the inhabitants were engaged in the traditional trade of fishing. They relied heavily on netting fish from the nearby river, a skill passed down through generations. Most villagers were unfamiliar with any other form of livelihood. However, a small group among them pursued other trades to support the needs of the fishermen. One evening, as a fisherman was returning home, he noticed a group of villagers gathered around a sage, deeply engaged in a conversation about the welfare of life. The Muni was advising them to adopt spiritual principles in accordance with their individual capacity. Each villager joyfully accepted a personal vow and, with a sense of purpose, returned home. After the crowd had dispersed, the fisherman approached the Muni and asked earnestly, "Is there anything I can do for my own welfare?" "What do you do for a living?" asked the Muni. "I am a fisherman," he replied. Muni responded, "Fishing is a cruel trade. If possible, you should give it up and take up another means of livelihood." The fisherman bowed his head and said, "I know no other work. If I abandon fishing, my family and I will starve." After a thoughtful pause, the Muni said gently, "Then take a small vow. Each time you cast your net, spare at least one fish. Can you do that?" "Yes," the fisherman agreed sincerely. He bowed at the Muniayuro trademark symbol as feet, feeling a sense of lightness within, and returned home with a peaceful heart. The next morning, the fisherman went to the riverside as usual for fishing. He cast his net into the water and waited patiently for the fish to get caught. Soon, he felt the net grow heavy and, with hope in his heart, imagined it was filled with many fish. Confident that this was the blessing of the oath he had taken, he pulled the net in with great effort, only to find a single large, old fish inside. Remembering his vow, he released it back into the river. When he cast the net again, the same old fish was caught, and once more he let it go. This kept happening throughout the day. By evening, the fisherman had caught nothing else, and he returned home empty-handed, with no food for his family. After reaching home, his wife immediately asked where the food supplies were and what happened to the money from selling the fish at the market. He replied, "I could Nairo trademark symbol to catch a single fish, and narrated the entire story, including the vow he had taken." Hearing this, she became furious and said, "With my 2 children and me left hungry, how could you do this?" In her anger, she ordered him to leave the house at once. The fisherman quietly left and spent the night alone under an open hut, without a morsel of food. By the next morning, his wife's trademark symbol as anger had cooled, and she wished to bring him back. She called out loudly for him, but there was no reply. When she reached him, she found him lifeless, his body cold and turning blue. A snake had bitten him during the night. Crying uncontrollably, she noticed a nearby snake pit. In a moment of grief and resolve, she reached her hand into the hole, thinking of following the same vow. The snake inside bit her too, and she soon collapsed beside her husband. With a snake bite, he left the world. Both had died from snake bite, yet the fisherman never broke the vow he had taken. The vow taken by both of them shaped the course of their next lives. This time, they were reborn into upper-class families. The fisherman was born into a wealthy household, but some remnants of his past negative karma were still active, preventing a completely trouble-free life. As a result, his mother passed away during his birth. He grew up to be an exceptionally handsome and charming boy. The fisherman trademark symbol as wife was also reborn in the same city, in the family of another wealthy man. She was extraordinarily beautiful, and her father was deeply proud of her. By fortune, this man happened to be a close friend of the fisherman trademark symbol as father from the other wealthy family. To celebrate the births of these two special children, both families hosted a grand feast in the city. Thus, the workings of operative karma continued to shape events, guiding them toward their destined meeting.